Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Yasharallah. Peace be unto the nation of Israel, whom are modern day so called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and speckled by Israelites, being Israelite foreigners scattered across the four corners of the earth, including within America, Babylon the Great, the main place of our captivity. And we are the Most High, Yahweh, chosen people of the nation of Israel. So without further ado, as always, in the Lashon Kodash, being the Holy Tongue, as in the Paleo Hebrew, being the ancient Hebrew, and we give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who was the God of the living, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barach, which is our praise to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit, who is our strength and our Redeemer, and our light and our salvation. In the same tongue, I'm utter Mashanah, Kabwadi Lahasakwani, Mishal, Dalwarabakab. We need double honor to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, and Shalom, honor salutation to Bayash Shadabada, the 144,000 elect together divided, the house of David, along with the rest of one-third elect men, women, and children of Israel, and the hopeful elect, including the hopeful elect tuning in. All right, you see including Brother Amariah, the Akim, Amariah, and Yahweh Sab, Yahweh Shem, Mashak Shai, Thumb. All right, to Akim. All right, and a few Akawath that are tuning in and may end up tuning in to this live or to this lesson. All right, dealing with the downfall of this Edomite hegemony. All right, which Agent 47 Donald Duck's most recent remarks. Okay, of declaring war on Denmark to acquire a Denmark territory of Greenland from their NATO ally Denmark is further indicative of the division of Esau Edom's conglomerate system, this beast system. Okay, all right, this Edomite hegemony. Okay, which will which are part of the rumors of wars that Yahweh Shai prophesied. All right, so I'm going to get into this information. I share my screen and bring out a couple of articles and play a video and filter everything to biblical prophecy. And Lord willing, this be further edifying his order to elect, right? Because the writing's on the wall for the downfall of Esau Edom's beast system. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this first article on BBC News. It says, why does Agent 47 Donald Duck want Greenland, and what do his people think? All right, just to go ahead and provide a synopsis of the territory of Greenland, where it's geographically located, who controls it. All right, before I get to the information, before I get to the meat of the information, it says U.S. President-elect Agent 47 Donald Duck has repeated his intention to take control of Greenland, the Arctic territory controlled by Denmark. Why is Trump talking about this, and why now? It says, where is Greenland? Greenland, the world's largest island, is located in the Arctic. It is the world's most sparsely populated territory. About 56,000 people live there, mostly indigenous Inuit people, all right, including ethnic Danish people, okay? It says about 80% of its territory is covered by ice, meaning most people live on the southwestern coast around the capital, Nuuk. It says an autonomous territory of Denmark, all right? It is also home to Danish and U.S. military bases, and that information reminds me of that precept in Psalm 37:35, where mentions how this devil would spread his authority, his wickedness like a green bay tree, including his 800 to 800 plus military bases. Okay, it's a part of his wine. All right, military control through his military industrial complex. So it says the economy is mainly based on fishing. Large subsidies from the Danish government account for about a fifth of GDP. It says in recent years there has been increased interest in Greenland's natural resources, including mining for rare earth minerals, uranium, and iron. These may become more accessible as global warming leads to some of the ice covering Greenland to melt. So by way of Esau Edom's track record, the self-proclaimed white man, okay, biblically prophesied as the devil the Bible speaks of, it has a track record or modus operandi of invading sovereign territories that doesn't belong to him, under the guise of democracy, playing the global humanitarian role. Okay, he actually hides war under his tongue, as it says in Psalm 55:21. Okay, by presenting himself, okay, to support the best interests of these territories. Okay, these different foreign lands that he invades. But meanwhile, in his heart and his mind, he's conspiring war to seize their natural resources, okay, which he would perceive to further bolster the U.S. economy. And he's done this throughout the course of time, especially through America during the Spanish Inquisition. Okay, stealing the oil, the gold, the copper, the silver, the cattle from the Northern Kingdom specifically. Okay, and then having the audacity to put the Israelites, including the Northern Kingdom, the modern day indigenous, in in these slave fields, prophesied in St. James' 5th chapter. Okay, on behalf of the sugar fields, tobacco fields, and the cotton fields. Okay, all right, including the Southern Kingdom and the cotton fields. All right, for the sake of international trade. Case in point. All right, he's expanded his wickedness. Okay, through lasciviousness and covetousness. Okay, beyond America through these other foreign lands. Okay, including Haiti. Okay, where the tribe of Levi is located. Okay, to acquire their large deposits of gold and iridium, in which iridium, is used to for satellite technology, and for spark plugs and so forth. So this devil has a long track record of stealing the Earth's natural resources. So it's not far fetched that Donald Duck, Agent 47, wants to invade Greenland for the same purpose. Okay, and for economic and military purposes. So it says here, after the U.S., it's like after the war, U.S. forces remain in Greenland. So it's like, let me start up here. It says, why does Greenland matter to the U.S.? The U.S. has long maintained a security interest in Greenland. After Nazi Germany occupied mainland Denmark during World War II, the U.S. invaded Greenland, establishing military and radio stations across the territory. After the war, U.S. forces remain in Greenland. Patuxent Space Base, formerly known as Thule Air Base, has been operated by the U.S. ever since. All right, now jumping down here, it says in 1951, a defense agreement with Denmark granted the U.S. a significant role in the defense of the territory, including the right to build and maintain military bases. If Russia were to send missiles toward the U.S., the shortest route for nuclear weapons would be via the North Pole and Greenland, said Mark Jacobson, an associate professor at the Royal Danish Defense College. That's why the Patuxent Space Base is immensely important in defending the U.S. So this is why Agent 47, Donald Duck, in his video I'm about to play, he pointed out that because China and Russia are in Greenland, that the U.S. must intervene because the Greenland is a territory of the Kingdom of Denmark, in which Denmark is a NATO ally. Okay, but even with that, by way of the U.S. intervening, through the guise of once again democracy and global humanitarianism to supposedly protect Greenland from Russia and China, they're still intervening in the sovereign business of Denmark by threatening Denmark geoeconomically through tariffs and sanctions, and even through the military if they don't play ball. So that's going to further anger the EU. Okay, like such as they've angered Germany. Okay, 4 years ago. Okay, by threatening them economically, through tariffs and sanctions, by way of Germany, desiring to buy cheap Russian gas. Case in point. So these war provocations are going to further divide these nations, including, Denmark. Okay, regarding this most recent information. So we're going to bring out this first precept before I go ahead and play the video. Revelation 17:16. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked." I mean, exposed. It says in Jeremiah 49:10, Esau, Edom, he's being exposed. Okay, by way of his demonic, ungodly nature. All right. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." All right. So who's this beast system? All right, is referring to, is associated with the 10 horns. All right, the modern day Eastern Union, the EU. Okay, formerly known as the EEC. All right, which is otherwise known as the common market, and that's why there's a lot of natural resources in Europe. Okay, that these devils in America, on behalf of the central bankers, desire to acquire. Okay, under their control, within their quest of global dominion. So to further expand on the 10 horns, we'll go ahead and go over to this website. So on greatmillstone.info, I'm gonna put this in a live comments chat in a second. All right, in live chat section. All right, for I can refer to. So it's on greatmillstone.info. It says the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is NATO, or including the 7 leading governments of NATO, okay, which is, you can see here, Germania Major and Minor, the Temanites, okay, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, the British, and the Greeks, okay, so it's all part of this beast system, okay, all right, which is why, which includes the French, which conquered the Levites in, the land that Esau referred to as Hispaniola in the 17th century. Because once again, Haiti, has a lot of natural resources over there, including the gold deposits, the iridium, copper, so forth. So you see here of the 10 horns, Denmark, or in Slovakia for the small print, but this is the largest I can expand it. So once again, if you want a better view, you can go ahead and go to the link as soon as I drop it in a chat. But it says here, it says Belgium and Denmark. All right, so Denmark is a part of the 10 horns, a part of this beast system. Okay, and the leader of this beast system, okay, spearheaded by NATO, is America, as you can see here. Which is who this harlot is symbolic of, this whore. Okay, America, Babylon the Great, that sits upon many waters, as in many governments through her Western philosophy. Okay, including, you can see here, of the components listed under Esau's Western philosophy, including democracy, which I mentioned, religion, okay, all right, including that plantation Christianity, okay, through Roman iconoclasm, or of the so-called whitewashing of the dark images of the saints and mainly the Lord, okay, which is why you have Cesare Borgia, the false image of Messiah, on behalf of Esau's religion. You have idolatry, another component of this Western philosophy of this devil. Okay, you have fornication, which is sexually illicit activities, and practices such as sodomy here, all right, whoredom, all right, adultery. You have lies, the craft, okay, the wiles mentioned in Ephesians 6. Then you have covetousness and murder. You see that? And this is all in the last two, facets or components of this Western philosophy of Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, further identifies and describes who he is, prophesied in the scriptures. And this is what this woman represents, this whore, okay, America, Babylon the Great, okay, because America is really the largest importer of commodities, okay, and this is why America, the whoredom, the spiritual whoredom of America on the spiritual aspect, okay, is being further exposed to the petrodollar, okay, in exchange for using America, the whore, to bolster one's economy. These sovereign nations, they have to trade in their own foreign currencies through this petrodollar. Case in point, for the time being. Okay, so this further identifies who this beast system is, including Denmark. So it's very interesting, okay, that Donald Duck, Agent 47, is threatening Greenland, okay, Denmark territory, okay, under the guise of protecting it from China and Russia, which I'm gonna get to in this next article. All right, before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and play this quick video. All right, so I'll play a couple of minutes of this video.
Is there a path to buying Greenland? U.S. President-elect Trump believes so and seems to be doubling down on his pledge to make it happen. 2 weeks away from retaking office, what seemed like a joke during his first term now has major powers nervous. I'm Andrea Sankey, and today's newsmaker is Greenland.
All right, fair use.
He hasn't even taken office, but already he's sparked major geopolitical controversy with U.S. allies. For purposes of national security, President-elect Donald Trump says the United States needs both Greenland and the Panama Canal. And he's already threatened Denmark with economic penalties if it doesn't agree to sell its autonomous territory. Now, authorities in both Greenland and Denmark have said the island is not for sale, but with Trump's determination, could its status be revised? And how could other global powers, not least Russia and China, respond? Here's a look.
The world's largest island is in the middle of a great power game. Donald Trump Jr., son of the US president-elect, arrived in Greenland on Tuesday after his father said he wants to buy the autonomous island from Denmark. Trump Jr. said it was only a tourist trip, but carried his father's message to the Greenlanders.
I just want to say that it's a very special place. It needs security for itself, but it also needs security very much for the world.
On the same day in Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump was asked whether he would rule out the use of military or economic force to take over the island.
I can't assure you, you're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two.
European leaders have warned Trump over any military action against a NATO ally and EU member. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot said the bloc will not allow an attack on its sovereign borders. And German Chancellor Olaf Scholz wrote on X that there is uneasiness regarding Trump's comments and called on Europe to stand together.
Okay, now speaking of which, speaking of the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, he was the one I was referencing earlier a few years ago around the height of the Calvin Klein 19 pestilence. Okay, when the Edomites of America, Babylon the Great, the whore, okay, were threatening Germany for siding with Russia, in terms of buying cheap Russian gas, which the Edomites of America considered as considered as treason, essentially. Considered that as being a flip-flopper in terms of their NATO ally, that their Germany's NATO alliance with America, and them being in America perceiving Germany to economically support Russia by purchasing their cheap Russian gas. See, so at the expense of the well-being of these other countries, okay, these Edomites in America, are looking to continue their covetous path of global dominance at the expense of even their own allies. And this further leads into Revelation 17 and 16. Okay, before I continue the video, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this quick precept in Daniel, the 2nd chapter. I'm going to start at verse 31. All right, Daniel chapter 2 and verse 31. And it reads, "Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible." So you had Nebuchadnezzar, okay, the Assyrian king, all right, dream or envision this great terrible image, which represented the conglomerate of the four the four empires, all right, ruling over the earth, all right, including starting with the Babylonians, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greeks, which are Edomites, and then the Romans, who are also Edomites. All right, so it says in verse 32, "This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet," Shalakia. All right, let this load up real quick. All right, so I'm gonna go over here and get it. All right, Shatan is playing with the connection. So this is Daniel 2 and 32. All right, as soon as it can load. All right, Daniel 2 and 32 says, "This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass." All right, it says, and go ahead and get the next verse as soon as it loads up. All right, so bear with me, Baba Kashah. It says here, "His legs of iron, his feet, part of iron and part of clay." All right, and the feet, part of iron and part of clay, represents division. This is referring to the EU, right? This beast system, all right, this fourth beast system, all right, the modern day pagan Western Roman Empire, which is splitting image of the fourth beast system, the Roman Empire. The pagan the pagan Roman Empire is America. So this is verse 34. "Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were iron and clay, and that stone is Yahushai." It says, "And break them to pieces," because Yahushai is going to go to war with the Edomites. Okay, every branch of your Edomite hegemony through your military. Okay, despite the fact that you are divided and will remain divided up until this last world's war, Armageddon, where you're going to direct your focus of fighting amongst yourselves to fighting Yahushua and the Allahayim, the angels. But this is Daniel 2 and 35. It says, "Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, It became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. It's lucky. All right, continuing on. All right, and verse 36, as soon as it loads up. All right, yeah, this is definitely Satan. Daniel 2:36 said, "This is a dream, and when we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king." So this is our forefather Daniel interpreting the dream for Nebuchadnezzar. It says here, "Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the power of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory." It says, "And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee rule over them all. Thou art this head of gold." All right. Verse 39. All right. Actually, you know what? Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and continue here. It says, "And after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass." All right. This third kingdom is Greece, "which shall bear rule over all the earth." Verse 40 says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron to the Roman Empire. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise." It says, "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron," okay, "the kingdom shall be divided," because clay in the context of prophecy is symbolic of weakness, and iron is symbolic of strength. Meaning, this is this is very symbolic of the division of the European hegemony. This Edomite hegemony of being partly weak and partly strong, meaning they're divided. They're not on the same accord. This is why you have America, the Edomites in America, looking to take the Denmark territory, Greenland, from Denmark, despite the fact that Denmark is a NATO ally of America. Okay, so it says, "The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." All right. It says, "And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." That's it right there. All right. And here's the last verse. It says, "And whereas thou sawest iron," or the last verse, I'm gonna bring that on this subject. It says, "And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay." All right, because they're divided. It says in Isaiah 19:2, it speaks about the Egyptian being set against the Egyptian. We grab that real quick. All right. Right. Egyptian, meaning bondman. Okay. So bondmen against bondmen, slave master against slave master. That these devils envy themselves. Okay. So this is Isaiah 19:2 says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother." All right. These Edomites are brothers. "And everyone against his neighbor, city against city." See that? City against city, including Edomite city of America as in land, against another Edomite city as in land in Denmark, and kingdom against kingdom. You see, so this is prophecy being further, fulfilled. All right, so going back to the video, play a few more seconds around this mark. I'm gonna jump to the 5-minute mark.
But Trump says the US needs the island for its national security.
I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen.
And
See, and this leads me to this this next article on that information. It's on the Diplomat. All right, the Diplomat news platform, entitled "China Steps Up Its Mining Interest in Greenland." And this article came out 6 years ago. All right, it says a major component of China's expanding interest in the Arctic, as outlined in Beijing's January 2018 white paper on the region, has been the development of joint ventures on resource extraction, including fossil fuels and raw materials. It says, while Russia has been receiving the lion's share of attention in the area of Chinese resource diplomacy in the Arctic, with the China-supported Yamal liquefied natural gas project being a major example, Greenland is emerging as another key component of Beijing's emerging Ice Silk Road. Now, what is the significance of Ice Silk Road? Let's go ahead and get it. Okay. It says the Ice Silk Road refers to a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, okay, which is a infrastructural project that would link Asia, okay, or China throughout Europe, all right, geoeconomically through that infrastructural road project, all right. For them to distribute their goods and services to further bolster their Chinese economy, all right. It says focus on developing trade routes through the Arctic region, particularly utilizing the Northern Sea route, which becomes more accessible due to melting ice, allowing for increased shipping and that economic activity in the Arctic. Essentially, it's China's strategy to leverage the Arctic for trade connectivity through new maritime routes. And so this is what Trump was referencing, okay, of China and Russian military being over there. But really what he's saying, okay, indirectly in a roundabout way, is that he wants to prevent China from being the next major superpower. Because that's a part of what he's presenting to the public and nationally, specifically nationally, okay, in terms of his so-called vision of making America great, okay, and that's that entails Esau being a number one over these other foreign nations, mainly those who challenge America economically, and militarily, and that would include China. So that's why Trump mentioned what he said mentioned. All right, you get a little bit more information. This article says, as a Greenland ice sheet continues to erode due to regional climate change, a paper published last month by the U.S. Proceedings of the National Academy of Science concluded that ice loss on the island has been accelerated significantly since the start of the century. All right, so anyway, jumping down. Chinese investment does present economic opportunities for Greenland, which has been seeking to diversify its economy away from a concentration on seafood, as well as the annual stipend given to the Greenland government by Denmark. So it says the most visible Chinese mining joint venture in Greenland thus far has been the Quainville project in southern Greenland, namely a planned uranium and neodymium, dysprosium, and yttrium, among others, mine, overseen by Australia-based Greenland Minerals in partnership with China's Shang Resources, which specializes in re-extraction. So it's all about the resources. That's why China's over there, and this is why China is over there in Africa. Okay, really, fighting the Edomites of the whore America, Babylon the Great, over those precious resources in Africa. And this is why that African country, Burkina Faso, had called for the expulsion of the French from that African country, Burkina Faso. Okay, because France is a part of the NATO beast system. Okay, further confirms all these Edomites, especially the beast system, have that same mentality of global dominion. Okay, so that's pretty much the point. All right, so I'm going to segue over to Habakkuk 2. I'm going to start at verse 4. All right, before I continue in that video. All right, so Habakkuk 2 and 4. And it reads, all right, it's a lot. All right, Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. All right, the soul, the soul of the self-proclaimed white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, the man of sin and son of perdition, Esau, Edom, is not lifted up upright in him because he's profane. Okay, as it says in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, outside of the temple, ungodly. Okay, and his empire, America, Babylon the Great, is indicative of his wicked, satanic, ungodly spirit. Okay, all right, this is verse 5. It says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine. All right, his wine of fornication. Further, reference here, part of his, Western philosophies. Okay, it says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home, because this devil, okay, Esau, Edom, a self-proclaimed white man, is a vagabond. And that's why he invades these lands, okay, so perpetually, because he doesn't have a home to claim as his own, going back to his forefather Cain. Okay, the initial vagabond. Okay, it says it says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathered into him all nations, and heapeth it to him all people. And how has he done this? Through violence, through carnality, especially through the Spanish Inquisition. So let's go to get that in Isaiah 14:6. All right, it reads, he who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. All right, this devil smote the people in wrath with the continuous stroke of his blessing, the sword, which is what his military industrial complex, okay, further represents, including his intelligence agencies, okay, his satanic devices, okay, through the dragon juice, hokey pokey, case in point, and through that kadagma. All right. So it says, and amongst those devices and instruments of death that he is used to further declare war on the earth, to usurp them under his Edomite authority. It says, he who smote the people in wrath with a continuous stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. It says, the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, meaning once the devil is removed from power, the whole earth is going to rejoice. Why? Because the Israelites are going to be granted a rulership over this earth again by Yahweh, by Shem Shai. Okay, so with that, I'm going to segue over to Sirach 14, and let's start at verse 3. All right, there's a lot of meat, in this chapter, so I'm going to read all the way down to verse 10. All right, Sirach 14:3, Ecclesiasticus of Sirach 14:3 says, riches are not coming for a niggard. What's a niggard? A stingy person. Okay, which the epitome of a niggard is Esau Edom. It says, and what should an envious man do with money? It says, he that gathers by defrauding his own soul gathered for others, that shall spend his goods riotously. All right. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. How a part of him being evil to himself is being evil towards his own comrades, man. In a sense of, in the instance of, Trump looking to further wage war on Denmark over Greenland because his resources and his, it's military benefits. Okay. In the favor of America. Okay. Against Russia and China. So it says, Sirach 14:6 says, there is none worse than he that envieth himself. See, and this is a recompense of his wickedness, all right, which is death and destruction. Because this further confirms, as is prophesied in Sirach the 10th chapter, you devils are not fit to rule this earth, because you're a fool. You're foolish. Okay, it's a case in point. A part of your foolishness is waging war on your own comrades. Okay, all right. Through these war provocations. For folly, for covetous and lascivious purposes. Sirach 14:7 says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. And at the last, he will declare his wickedness. All right, and that's what he's doing these last days. All right, the end of his empire. Verse 8 says, the envious man hath the wicked eye. He turneth away his face and despiseth men. That lines up with Isaiah 14:6. All right, it says in verse 4, Sirach 14:9, a covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion. Man. And the iniquity of the wicked dried up his soul. See? That's why the late great, Native American activist Russell Means, had referred to the the subclient white man as soulless. Case in point. And who better to point out the wickedness of the subclient white man Esau Edom but Gad, the modern day Native American. Sirach 14:10 says, a wicked eye envieth his bread, and he is a niggard at his table. Hey, I mean, NATO, NATO shares the same table, essentially. But yet you have NATO allies fighting over the land, which is foolishness, mainly on behalf of America. So I'm going to go back to, I'm jump over to the 5-minute mark of this video. All right. Then we jump to the end of the video, around the 22-minute mark. So this is a Republican strategist, a pro Donald Duck supporter. When you listen to her rhetoric, Amanda Mackey. All right, so I'm going to continue this video.
United States have control in some way, shape, or form of Greenland. He hasn't expressly mentioned what it would be. There are different forms that this can take as the U.S. has acquired countries through territories before and other compacts. But really,
You hear
what
what she
this
said?
comes
Rewind
down
that.
to for President Trump is
She just submitted. She just gave a brief historical synopsis of the height of Esau's power through invading lands. To acquire a resource that doesn't belong to the devil. And she just admitted that. Let's go and rewind that.
acquired properties.
See that?
Mentioned what it would be. There are different forms that this can take as the U.S. has acquired countries through territories before and other compacts.
And that's prophesied in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. We just read that. So this further identifies who this devil is. All right, we'll continue.
But really what this comes down to for President Trump is his concern over China and Russia. And when he sees the expansion that those countries are taking in a country that is so different forms that this can take as the U.S. has acquired countries through territories before and other compacts.
Right now, all right, we haven't quite read that yet, so let's go ahead and get it now. Back in Habakkuk 2 and continuing in verse 6. Okay, Habakkuk 2 and 6. All right, and it reads, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him? And say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And you look up that word clay in the Hebrew is abadia, meaning debt. And this is why America's U.S. economy or debt, okay, the U.S. economy, okay, includes debt well over $36 trillion in debt that cannot be possibly paid back, done by design, orchestrated by the wicked central bankers, the throne of iniquity, the rulers of the darkness of this world, to further justify putting America back in a geoeconomical hole, okay, to justify the geoeconomical collapse of this current monetary system in the West, to bring to transition this world rather, okay, mainly in America, to this new totalitarian dystopian technocracy, okay, where they want everyone shipped, all right, with this MOTB implant, this mark of the beast, okay. So this is these all these war provocations and whether geoeconomically based, militarily based, even geopolitically based, to the narratives justifying their satanic NWO agenda, it's all through that main road to the MOTB to eventually be made mandatory. All right. So this is verse 7. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee and awake thee? It's like an awake that shall vex thee, and that shall be for booties into them, spoils of war. So just like, you made these nations spoils of war, mainly the nation of Israel, all right, during the time of Spanish Inquisition and transatlantic slave trade, and you've expanded that wickedness to these other nations, okay, the tide is turning to where you're going to be booties to them, okay, because the Lord, how by Shemashah is fair, all right? This is Habakkuk 2 and 8. It says, because thou hast spoiled many nations, as it says in Isaiah 33 and 1, you spoiled many nations, so you're going to be spoiled, man. It says, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city and of all that dwell therein. Okay. It says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. You're not going to be delivered from the power of evil, because you are the epitome of evil. That's why evil is chasing you. Okay. Which it says in Proverbs 13 and 21, roughly paraphrasing. It says, evil shall pursue sinners. Okay. All right. Through death and destruction is part of the evil that's destined to befall you devils. This is verse 10. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and has sinned against thy soul, because you envy yourself. It says Sirach 14. That's why that further confirms he's not fit to rule. I'm gonna let her speak a little bit longer, and then segue to right at 20-second mark, and that'll be the end of that video I'm gonna play. All right.
But really what this comes down to for President Trump is his concern over China and Russia. And when he sees the expansion that those countries are taking in a country that is so close to our doorstep, in North America, he believes that he needs to flex, and that has come in the form of rhetoric so far. We don't know specifics, of course. President Trump is not in office yet, so we're waiting to hear that. A lot of people think it is just that, just rhetoric. They don't necessarily think he will do anything, but it is enough to have caused concern that the coat of arms has changed in Denmark, and I think that is just an interesting reaction, though very small, just an interesting reaction to something that could very much be a big issue and a big topic coming in. Although as an American Republican strategist, I would say we have a lot of other things that will be going on that are very vital to President Trump and what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to segue over to around this mark here. Before I do, I'm going to get this precept. The brother Yawasab put on the comment board, Proverbs 28 and 22. All right. Proverbs 28 and 22 says, he that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. That's fire, and that's self-explanatory. Okay. Yep. Brother Amariah put heavy debt, heavy pledges. Exactly. That's what's destined for you devils. Okay. Case in point. All right. So, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, beloved brother Aziyala Yahba Shem Shabrakatah. All right. So I'm going and I'm going to get back to the video. I'm gonna segue over to the 22-minute mark.
I think that's the wrong way of going about this, because I think it's in everybody's interest.
Rewind a little bit.
Pointing a gun basically at the smaller. Trying to work out this, I think that is a real possibility. But what is not good is you start out the negotiating tactic from the biggest part in the room by pointing a gun basically at the smaller countries in the room. I think that's the wrong way of going about this, because I think it's in everybody's interest to actually create a more safe environment in Greenland for the West.
And just quickly, Amanda, some of the more cynical.
And they don't want to create a safe environment for the Greenland. They don't give a damn about Greenland. Trump, matter of fact. Let me get to the you get to this part of the article on the BBC article entitled "Why Does Trump Want Greenland and What Do His People Think?" Now let's jump down to that section, okay? Which is entitled "What Do the People of Greenland Think?" Kuno Finker, a member of the Inatsisartut, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so the Greenlandic Parliament said on Wednesday that he didn't see Trump's comments as a threat. Now, anyway, jumping down to the point, says, but when Agent 47, Donald Duck, first raised the idea of buying Greenland in 2019, many locals told the BBC News platform they were opposed to the proposal. All right. Somebody said, this is a very dangerous idea, said Dines Milcason, a tour operator who was born and raised in Tasiilaq, East Greenland. He's treating us like a good he can purchase. So that's Esau's mentality. Said Aleqa Hammond, Greenland's first female prime minister, and that's an abomination. All right, because you women are not supposed to be in a position of rulership, so you really shouldn't be talking. But I mean, she does have a point. It says he's not even talking to Greenland; he's talking to Denmark about buying Greenland. Exactly. Let me that apart again. He's not even talking to Greenland. And now, mind you, Greenland, is looking to support themselves as a sovereign entity, despite the fact that they're owned by Denmark. As of World War II. Which has been the case since World War II anyway. But yet, Greenland wants to be thought of as a sovereign entity. So this is what they're mentioning, how Donald Duck, Agent 47's comments here opposed their sovereign vision of their own territory, which, really belongs to Denmark. But, that just further showcases Esau's, covetousness and lasciviousness. So they said, Aleqa Hammond, Slovakia. Yep. Aleqa Hammond said he's not even talking to Greenland. He's talking to Denmark about buying Greenland. All right. There you go. So I'm going to go back to this video.
Say that Donald Trump is really just after the natural resources that Greenland contains. He wants first dibs on the oil reserves that are there, the rare earths that are there. That's really what it's about. And it's
I'm going to this a little bit.
Environment in Greenland for the West.
And just quickly, Amanda, some of the more cynical say that Donald Trump is really just after the natural resources that Greenland contains. He wants first dibs on the oil reserves that are there, the rare earths that are there. That's really what it's about, and it's basically about greed.
But she points out that people who believe that Esau Edom is really through America is really over there in Greenland on behalf of Trump's recent rhetoric to acquire Greenland from Denmark. She is saying that those people are labeled as cynical, really cynical. Okay, it's basically an adjective that describes people that believe that people are purely motivated by self-interest. All right, mainly through covetousness and lasciviousness. All right, and that those very governments that have that framework of mind or mindset, all right, are distrustful, okay, or insincere, okay, which is why the sedition amongst men is going to happen, prophesied in 2 Ezra 15, because people of these wicked, tyrannical, corrupt governments, mainly in America, are going to realize that, and they're going to further take matters into their own hands. Case in point. All right, but I digress back to this, to this video.
Any truth to that?
I don't think it's about greed. I mean, of course, this is
sort of confirm you women don't know shit, man. It's not, and granted, this woman here has 25 years of political experience, but what she says should be taken as a grain of salt for the fact that she's pro-Republican, meaning in regards to her support for Donald Duck, 1847, she's pro-Trump. So whatever she says should be taken as a grain of salt. So when she said that she doesn't believe that Trump's rhetoric suggests that, he's being greedy, who in the right mind would listen to her? Okay, by way of by way of who her rhetoric supports on behalf of the new commander in chief that's looking like is going to be inaugurated on January 20th, unless something happens between now and then. He's going to Nero Caesar reincarnated. Donald Duck, 1847, will be number 47 officially on next Monday, the 20th. Okay, so which happens to fall on a high-level satanic day on a witch's calendar. But yet she's saying that that's not the case. How he's not being greedy. You see that? So I'm going to continue.
Country that does have a lot of natural resources. Alaska, you could say, was a strategic purchase, although at the time they called it Seward's Folly for paying $7.5 million for this Arctic tundra. But again, in the end, it turned out to be very important strategically, but also in its natural resources. So that's an important thing, of course. No one's going to deny that. But I think it's also important to keep in mind, when you're talking about war, this is the first Republican president who has not engaged in war. And this is the first Republican president who people voted for specifically because he is not a war hawk. We call them hawks and doves. He is
this silly lady woman referred to Donald Duck, 1847. He's not a war hawk. See, this is why you women don't know shit. Okay. You're governed by your emotions. Now, granted, she's really being a devil because she knows that's not true. And that's why a lot of these politicians and these people that are tied to these politicians in the journalism realm, they're really all devils because they, especially those who are pro-establishment like she is, meaning what she says that doesn't have any merit, because if 1847 Donald Duck wasn't a war hawk, why the fuck did he release white phosphorus bombs on Syria back in 2017? Case in point. Why, if he wasn't a war hawk, why the fuck under his administration did he eliminate the top Iranian general Soleimani? Come on, man. But I digress.
He's much more of a dove. He is much more.
She said he's much more of a dove. And look at this Edomite smile. He getting ready to cut her, but I'm gonna continue.
A person in a leadership role for the United States who has not been a proponent of war. So I wouldn't look at that as he's going to move forward with war. I just think he's going to be very strategic about how he does this in a negotiating fashion. I don't see war happening. I want to be clear about that.
But Amanda, how can you call someone a dove who is actually acting like a hawk?
You see that? I'm going to I got to wind that.
War. I just think he's going to be very strategic about how he does this in a negotiating fashion. I don't see war happening. I want to be clear about that.
But Amanda, how can you call someone a dove who is actually acting like a hawk when he's basically saying that he cannot exclude the use of military force against a small nation? That sounds like a hawk.
If you're negotiating, you have to say, you have to be very broad, I think. And I think that's why, if you throw a question at him, he's not going to make a decision on the spot and tell you. he's talking to a reporter and he's going to say, I'm not ruling anything out. That's how people talk. That's how politicians in the United States talk. They're not going to show all their cards. So
why they're not going to show their cards? Because they're not supposed to. Okay, it says in Daniel 8:25, their policies of their craft, their witchcraft, so they're not supposed to reveal their so-called poker hand, if you will, proverbially speaking. But she's using that concept to justify what Donald Duck, Agent 47, is declaring. Case in point, and they said the audio was echoing. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. This video is pretty much almost done anyway. I'm gonna play a little bit more, a few more seconds of this video.
I do believe this is I really truly believe this is strategic negotiating, and you're right, it is in the best interest.
She's not negotiating with Greenland. She's being a devil. He's not. He's clearly not negotiating with Denmark. The article said it. I'll read it again. Okay, I'll read that again. All right. The Greenland's first female prime minister, Aleqa Hammond, said he's not even talking to Greenland. He's talking to Denmark about buying Greenland. So there's really no negotiations, because he said if they don't play ball, he's going to send a military over there. That's not a negotiation. That's a declaration of war. Okay. I digress.
Of NATO countries to come to the table and do what's right, because the United States is not going to continue to be the whipping boy for the rest of the world. And I think that's the way that you got to think about it from President Trump's perspective. He is not someone who wants to engage in war, but he's not going to take anything off the table. And this is, in my opinion, very much how
her opinion. They say about opinions, man. They're like, they're like the thing that stinks. Everybody has it. So who gives a fuck about your opinion, man? Because what you're saying is contrary to biblical prophecy. It doesn't matter what you people want, mainly in America, Babylon the Great. It matters what the Lord wants. As it says in Jeremiah 30:24, He can perform the intents of His heart, roughly paraphrasing, and especially through the testimony of the Lord, Hamashiach Yahushai, whom is the Most High's word. Yahushai in the physical manifestation is the word. Okay, so it's probably we just brought it out in the prophecies in Daniel's 2nd chapter. Yahushai, that stone is gonna bruise these nations. Okay, it specifically this Edomite hegemony. Okay, case in point. But play a little more of this.
he strategizes, when he negotiates.
And that will have to be the final word. I'd like to thank you both so much for joining us on the news.
All right. That's it on that. So let's get a few more precepts on that. Obadiah 6. All right, this is Obadiah 6. All right, and it reads, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?" Okay, by the Holy Spirit, tearing down his strongholds and stumbling blocks. It says here in verse 7, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in them." So why have those men that you were once confederate with, okay, conspire to lay a wound under you? Because you've done the same to them. Okay, including Russia, because case in point, Russia was once an ally of America, okay, through the Allied powers during World War II. Okay, all right. And who compromised that relationship? It was America, Babylon the Great, okay, by reneging that deal they had with the Russians, okay, that they will not expand eastward closer to Russian territory. Around 1994 up, and from 1994 up until now, they've been doing exactly that, what they promised not to do. And the Ukraine proxy war is a prime example of those broken promises, or that particular broken promise of America, Babylon the Great, the whore, okay, that sits upon many waters, okay, promising Russia that they will not do that. Okay, so now, that's why Russia is going to be spearheading this charge against America to destroy this place with thermonuclear weapons. Okay, it says in Ezekiel 38, okay, Russia is going to be a guard to these nations that oppose the Western philosophy of America. All right, especially the British Union. So with that, I'll read that again. Obadiah verse 7. "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." Why is that? Because Esau the fool. His nation is considered the nation of fools. So it's going to get that. And Job 30 and 30. I believe it's the 5th verse, but I'm starting from the top. This is Job 30 and 1. It says, "But now they are younger than I have." It's like it, but now They that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Because Esau Edom is a sexual deviant and a beast. That's why he loves being around dogs. That's why he's permitted bestiality within like what 7 to 10 cities in America, Babylon the Great. Okay, if not more than that by now. Okay, this is verse. Let's jump down to verse 5. And that's why Esau is likened to a dog, a beast. Okay, Job 13:5 says they were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. Says that to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and caves of the earth and in the rocks. So hence the term cave dweller. Okay, that's the origination of you devils. Okay, you the vagabonds you are getting chased into them caves in Mount Seir, and then okay, more modern a modern era of history. Okay, during the Dark Ages, our forefather during the Moorish Empire chased you devils into the caves in Georgia, Russia. Okay, that's why you were crawling around on all fours. Okay, speaking unintelligible speech like unga boonga, and you're gonna go back to that. Okay, that's why you were the children of fools. Okay, you're beast-like people, and your rulership is further indicative of your demonic, ungodly nature. It says here in verse 7, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. Okay, once again, that braying is of like that unintelligible speech. Here's the point in verse 8. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, and the earth is wicked. Okay. Case in point. All right. Going back to Eve, being beguiled by the old ancient serpent called the devil, that spirit that dwells within Esau Edom. Okay, in which as a result that this earth was cursed, including the crops that spring forth, which why we eat GMO foods nowadays. It speaks about that in Ezekiel 4:13, how we would eat our bread defiled amongst the Gentiles. That's part of this earth being cursed because of the wine of you devils. Okay, and you're violent in the earth because they're the children of base men. And it speaks about that in Daniel 4:17. How the Lord Yahweh Shemashai appointed the basis of all men in a position of rulership. And that further was that, and these prophecies further identify who the basis of all men are. You Edomites, you self-proclaimed Caucasians, you cave dwellers. Case in point. So I'm gonna segue over to Sirach 4:17. All right, Sirach 4:17, and it reads, "For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways." And that's not it. Salakia. That's Salakia. I believe it's verse 27. All right, verse 27. Yep. Sirach 4:27, it says, "Make not thyself an underling to a foolish man, neither accept the person of the mighty." Okay, so this is a commandment. Okay, yet our people suffering under Stockholm syndrome by way of the generational effects of the curses. Okay, including slavery. Okay, looked at this devil, this foolish man, as a person of mighty, reverencing him, marveling after his beast system, as it prophesies in Revelation 13 chapter. And these other nations fall within that snare as well. Okay, by way of the golden city and the modern day king of Babylon, the golden city mentioned in Isaiah 14. You see that? So this is Revelation 17. All right, I'm gonna read verses 1 to 4. All right, Revelation 17:1. It says, "And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters." And once again, you can see, further, represented here through this, the symbolism of this whore that sits upon this beast, okay, which represents America. Okay, the well-favored harlot, the name in the 3rd chapter, is this bitch, this whore, America, Babylon the Great. Okay, filthy, abominable, okay, promiscuous, demonic. Okay, unruly. So this is Revelation 17:2. It says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication." Okay, once again, what is that wine? Okay, there's a wine here: their democracy, their religion, idolatry, fornication, lies, adultery, covetousness, and murder. Okay, that's Esau's wine of fornication. It's modern day Western philosophy. This is what caused these nations to be fed up with him. Okay. Revelation 17:3 says, "So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and once again, this is what this image represents. America sitting upon these governments, okay, including the 7 leading governments of NATO. Okay. So verse 4 says, and a woman was arrayed in purple and a scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Okay, and purple is color of royalty. So this further, represents Esau's prosperity. Okay, his global prowess as a leader through his wine. It goes on to say here, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness for fornication, and a golden cup is further symbolic of her prosperity. Okay, what is marveled after by the world, and that's why these nations come over here. Okay, to get a piece of the pie, so to say. This is Revelation 13. Okay, Revelation 13:1 says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. All right, America is a public and perfect example of blasphemy, direct blasphemy against the Holy Spirit of the Lord, because everything that is wicked and contrary to the righteousness of this gospel, okay, of these scriptures is satanic. All right, and the word Satan means adversary. So everything a part of America, every facet and every custom and tradition is wicked, originating back to ancient Babylon and Egypt, because there's nothing new under the sun. And that's why America, Babylon the Great, is considered a sinful kingdom, is going to be devastated and annihilated and incinerated by fire, thermonuclear fire, and radiation. This last war's war. Okay. All right. It's a part of the curse of America, Babylon the Great. This Revelation 13:2 says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. All right. All right. Which is referring to Russia, the bear. All right. Because once again, Russia was once confederate with the Edomites of America. Okay. Even though Russia was never a part of NATO and never part of the EU, Russia was once an ally of the Allied powers going back to World War II. But they're no longer a part of that alliance, because Esau of America compromised that partnership. Okay, so it says, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as a mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power. A dragon is synonymous with a serpent, Esau, Edom. Okay, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So the dragon, this old anxious serpent called the devil, Esau, Edom, gave this beast this authority. Okay, this is why NATO is so strong nowadays, and their EU conglomerate nations, including Denmark, who's now against America, okay, because what's prophesied. Verse 3 says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. All right, this is the Roman Empire, okay, being healed, okay, during the Renaissance period, after our forefathers were ruling over them for 1,000 years. Okay, it says around 1,000 years. It says, and all the world wandered after the beast. All right, they're marveling after this beast system. Okay, through this golden cup sitting in his whore's hand. Okay, through her wine in that golden cup. Okay, this verse 4 says, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? See, this is Donald Duck 1847 mentality, and this is why he attacked Syria back in 2017. This is why he eliminated the Iranian general Soleimani, who's going to, because with no blowback or consequences, repercussions, okay, to be thought of, okay, no ramifications whatsoever. And see, as a master is, so is his servant. Okay, regarding the vast majority of Babylonians in America, okay, and even these other nations that marvel after the beast system, because whether they despise America or not, if they're doing business with America, that's a form of bowing down before America. Because why not just support your own sovereignty, okay, by relying on your own independent currencies, like the BRICS Union is doing now for the most part. Because they found a loophole to no longer deal with the petrodollar on the international markets. You see? So nations are still that are not doing that, and they're still doing business with the petrodollar. They're also bowing down before this beast system. So they also have the mentality of who can make war with this beast, okay, do on behalf of the dragon, Esau, Edom. Okay, Revelation 13:5 says, and there was given to him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given to him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against the Most High God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Okay, and that is referring to the angels. How they refer to blaspheme the Lord through his angels, through Roman iconoclasm, quote unquote whitewashing. Okay, the images of the angels to depict little naked Edomite babies, your little pink peckers hanging out. That's blasphemy. That's refer to part of the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Okay, yeah, like Yahushua said, everything except for blasphemy against the Holy Spirit can be forgiven. So you devils, that's why you devils are doomed. Okay, this verse 7 says, and it was given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So he made war with the saints by way of the power the dragon gave through the beast system. Okay, because all the case of point, all the goods and services, the commodities and natural resources, all those commodities and other goods and services that you nations trade through the international markets, okay, are further byproducts of our slavery. This is mentioned as prophesied in St. James 5th chapter. See? So it says it was given to him to make war with the saints, okay, and that's part of you making war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. See that? And this is why the whore sits upon many waters. And this is why Agent 47, Donald Duck, feels emboldened to demand their current NATO ally, Denmark, to give up Greenland, or else, or force, or risk rather a military invasion on behalf of NATO, on behalf of America. So it says in verse 8, it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Okay, so everyone whose names are not written in the book of life on behalf of the chief of the elect, the house of David, and the rest of the 1/3 elect, men, women, and children of Israel, okay, whose eyes are blinded and ears are shut to these prophecies, will marvel after this beast system and fall for all the wicked rhetoric that these devils are spewing, okay, to entice them psychologically to support this beast system. And those are the same souls going to take that chip and get destroyed by bathing in a lake of fire, okay? All right, Revelation 13:9 says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You devils did that through the transatlantic slave trade, okay, 7 centuries before that, during the trans-Saharan slave trade, going back to the pagan Greco-Roman Empire, even up until this point. You've been ruling over us, okay, with rigor, just like the ancient Egyptians did, you modern-day Egyptians, as in you modern-day bondmen are doing, you Edomites specifically. Because once again, all the goods and services of the commodities and other goods and services, okay, natural resources that you're fighting over came from us. That's part of our captivity, okay? Says, he that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. As Yahushua said, in your patience possess your souls. Okay? Okay? Which is where our hope lies. Okay? Within the conclusion of these prophecies, ending in the destruction of you damn devils. All right? This is Sirach 10:8. Says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that's this paradigm shift that's taking place in these last days. Wicked rulership over to righteous rulership. Case in point. Okay? So with that, get a couple of precepts off the board. And that'll be that. All right, this is Brother Yahweh put Psalm 73:12. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Self-explanatory. And that's Esau Edom for you. Okay? Whom this precept moderately pertains to. All right? Brother put up Sirach 9:11. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. I got to read that again. Sirach 9:11. Envy not the glory of a sinner, for thou knowest not what shall be his end. Because Yahushua said in St. Luke 10:18, behold, I see Shaitan falling as lightning. Okay, regarding the bidders of Shaitan, the devil, Esau Edom. Okay, all right. The brother put up Sirach 16:13. Sirach 16:13 reads, the sinner shall not escape with his spoils, and the patience of the godly shall not be frustrated. And that's your part precept to end this off on. Okay, because through our patience, we possess our souls, like how Shai told us. Okay, because we are the prisoners of hope. Okay, and our hope lies in how Shai, okay, being prophesied to descend back into this realm, but this time to Allahim and angels to wage war on the angels of this world, as in the messengers of this world, okay, on behalf of these heathen nations through the military, okay, and for all these, for all of these military units of the heathen, okay, to be destroyed by the hand of Yahweh Shai and the angels, okay. Shortly after that, we will be ruling forever. All right, Yasharallah, okay. So I'm gonna end it off on a note. All right, praise. This epistle is for the edifying, exhorting to elect, and give all praises, glory, infinite honor to my power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is the God of the living. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachudash. All right. And once again, double honors to the apostles and elder bishops, great millstone, whose labors we've entered into. And Shalom, Labachayim, Shah, La Bayashadawada, La Yasharala, meaning peace to the elect of the house of David of Israel. Okay. All right. And the water for you, I keep tuning in. The water for your skill for adding to your precepts and adding on to the edification. And with that, Bob the Ball, soon, very soon. All right. Shalak Rayam to this goddamn place. America battling the great and all those who support this whore. Okay. That sits upon many waters. All right. Shabbat Shalom, L'chaim, and on to the next one.